People often ask me where to buy yerba mate and recommendations, and I'd suggest going to supporting a local store or a small business if possible. However, if you're living somewhere where you can't, like I once was, and they just don't offer the yerba that you want, check out Pampa Direct. They have the largest supply of yerba mate that I've seen, and I've learned and tried so many from them before that I've never seen anywhere else. But not only yerba, they also have dulce de leche, alfajores, shirts like jerseys, games and snacks like chocolinas, which is one of my wife's favorite cookies. And I found some really great recommendations on there for beginners, such as Don Eregi, which is something I learned about by just trying different stuff there. And also some of my personal favorites, which is Pipore and Aguantadora Despalada. They have great customer service that speaks English, and in fact, they shipped me another package of yerba for free after they had mixed up one of my orders. And they always include like little, extras, like little candies and stuff, which is really nice. And they ship anywhere in the world, and they offer free shipping here in the U.S. with an order of $50 or more. That may change depending on your country. And as a sponsor of the show, they offer 10% off on your first order with the code POWER. Go to yerbamatepower.com/pampa to place an order. Again, that's yerbamatepower.com/pampa. P-A-M-P-A. Pampa. Thanks.
Welcome to the Yerba Power Podcast, where we share the power of yerba mate with the world. Introducing your host, Devin.
Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the Yerba Power Podcast. Hey, I've got a special guest today, and I mean that truly, because this is someone I've met personally in the yerba mate world when he came to visit me in Nashville. We went out to Centennial Park, which is a cool park that has a lot of green space, a lot of places where people can gather, hang out, play games, frisbee or soccer, or just be together. And so it was a perfect place to have a mateada. So we met up there, had a mateada. It's one of my favorite parks out there. It's got a nice little pond kind of area, and it's got a life-size replica of the Parthenon. So that's really cool. So anyways, I want to introduce you guys to Osvaldo, goes by Ozzy. He's the founder of Toma Yerba Mate, which they have a very earthy, organic yerba mate. It's great stuff. I've tried it. He's originally from Paraguay, or he's originally from the U.S., but he's from Paraguayan ancestry. So a unique take on Paraguayan yerba mate that I learned about through him, because I was mostly familiar with Argentine yerba mate. So the cool thing about him and his background is not only sharing the love of yerba mate as an American, with that connection back to his ancestry, but as well as explaining about Tereré, which is what this episode is going to be about. It's the process of serving yerba mate cold. So let's get right into it. All right, welcome to the Yerba Power Podcast. Guys, this is Osvaldo from Toma Yerba Mate. Welcome to the show, Osvaldo.
What's up, Devin? How are you, man? It's good to be out here. Good to see you again.
Yeah, you as well. Yeah, no, thanks for joining me. So you guys, I don't know if you're new to the podcast or found me on Instagram, I had the pleasure of actually doing a in-person mateada with Osvaldo when he came to visit me over here in Nashville. That was a pretty surreal experience because it's like we had been friends, virtually on Instagram for, probably more over a year, and probably not even really seeing each other's face until then, So that was pretty cool. So anyways, for what it's worth.
Yeah, man. I remember talking about that, and it's just fascinating how the pandemic has kind of shifted things, right? Like pre-pandemic, I never would have thought I would be meeting people online. I didn't really create this platform yet, so it was really cool to and during the pandemic was when this whole idea started. It was like I was drinking mate and did it alone, and I was like, damn, like there's got to be other people out there that are drinking it alone that would love to connect virtually, and it led to us meeting up. So super cool.
Yeah, man. And that's kind of one of the things that
hopefully this show can help, the power of Yerba Mate of connecting us all. So with that being said, I want to talk something you personally can help me. I'll be honest, I'm pretty ignorant in this field as far as Paraguay. I've been to Argentina, I've been to Bolivia, been to Peru, but I haven't been to Paraguay. Unfortunately, that'll have to change one day. But so that's why, if you guys that can't see the video, if you're just listening, he's got his Paraguay jersey on, right? Embarate, did I say it right?
Yeah.
Which is like fuerza, yeah, or like strength, like go get them, basically, kind of for the World Cup, right? That's Guarani, for you guys that don't know. That is the official language of Paraguay. It's considered, the national language. There you go. So in other words, is what people would think it'd be Spanish. They do speak Spanish, of course, but that is actually the official, I guess, national language, which is the indigenous language, which is the origins of Yerba Mate. So I guess I'll let you speak into that as the actual expert there.
Yeah, thanks. For the plug intro, Paraguay is not some very touristy country. It's kind of nestled in the heart of South America, landlocked small country. So, I think something fascinating about it is that it's one of the few countries in the world that has two official national languages. There's a big part of the population that only speaks Guarani. I grew up around Guarani. My parents spoke to each other in Guarani. Got yelled at. I got reprimanded very often in Guarani, so I learned all the
those words and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
As a little kid, but it's a really fascinating country. And Yerba Mate is just so deeply ingrained in the culture, and it's really the Guarani people who started cultivating it and using it, and it's just such an honor to be able to reconnect with my roots and have this platform where I can connect with people through Mate and meet cool people like you.
Well, thank you. So Osvaldo first put me on Kurupi at first, which was a game changer. I'm completely honest with you guys. That really was. This is my first Paraguayan yerba that I've tried, and it really was one of my favorites. Straightforward. The Menta y Boldo, so the mint and Boldo one, is exquisite. I'm serious. You guys have to try that if you haven't. It's, I guess, because I like mint, so that's why. But it's got such flavor and stuff, and it's long lasting. It's great. Unique too. And so on the cover of that package, it has a lot of some symbolism and stuff from Paraguay and the cultivation of the yerba, the people cultivating the Guaranis. Is there anything you could maybe give some insight? Because you can tell on the packaging that they're looks like they're drying some leaves or taking some off and putting them up to dry or something. So
that's actually Kurupi has a lot of really good infused yerba, so they come flavored with the one I sent you. I think it was menta y limon, mint and lemon, which is a really popular, refreshing flavor for tereré. Drink it cold. And I remember one time taking a picture of one of those because they have different pictures for different varieties. And I think I posted it was album cover art because it's such a culturally relevant image. The imagery is really powerful. You see the indigenous people in terms of the process. What you mentioned, you see them drying it. I think it's the drying process. So they would set up. Back then it was probably using twigs and branches and stuff. They would set up kind of like a fire pit, more or less, where they would and that's part of the process. It's the leaves, the plant has to mature to a certain age, and then when it's ready to be cut, they gather the leaves, the branches, depending on the cut of the yerba. Sometimes you see Toma, for example, this is really pure. It has, you see little pieces of twig and branch in there. So they hang that over the fire, and then it goes through an extensive drying period, and then there's a sitting period where it sits for from anywhere from a year to 2 years, or Toma sits for 2 years. It's aging. It's like fine wine, you know what I mean? Like used, let it sit the longer it ages. So I was blessed to like go out to Paraguay. I went to like the boondocks, the farms where our yerba is cultivated, and I learned a lot about the process. And it's not just that; it's not just those stages of like the plant growing, trimming it, drying it, and then like grinding it up and making it finer. But it's also like the actual growth process is fascinating to me because like I think I mentioned to you that they intentionally plant it around other crops that interact well with yerba, and they help each other thrive rather than pulling nutrients away from each other. So there's plants that are needed to Paraguay in that region, which is why it thrives in that region only. Like yucca is like native to that area. I think they said beans are really good, and something like corn is not good because it pulls too much of the nutrient away from the plants, and it was also shade grown, so it was surrounded by really big tall trees. Yeah, the production process is fascinating, and I'm actually I'm going to go back to the producer that makes the yerba we sell, and stand there for like a week or two and just like actually work the fields and like learn more about it.
Nice, that's cool. Something I wanted to ask you that I'll be honest, another thing I don't know a lot about. I've only done it like maybe 2 or 3 times. I mean, I know what it is, but I've never really prepared tereré. So as you know, and maybe those that don't know, but Paraguayans drink more tereré. Why? Is because it tends to be more, hot and humid there. So it's a cooler way to drink it. Argentines, they tend to drink it hot, no matter if it's 1,000,000 degrees or not. So I've learned that they drink it even hotter water to me than I personally drink. But so how is the whole process of tereré?
It's perfect timing because I'm actually making. Sorry for the background noise. I'm making some right now, and my recipe is mint and lemon. So I have some fresh mint here, right, that grows outside of my house. You'd be fascinated at how resilient mint is. Like it can grow even in the winter. It grows like wildfire.
Yeah, no, I had a little mint plant, and I'm terrible about taking care of plants, and like that was the only thing that survived, and it growed everywhere. Yeah.
And so I'll take some fresh mint. I kind of crush it up a little bit, and kind of like activates it, right? Like beans. And I'll throw that into some ice water. I got ice water here in my
like a pump thermos, right? Yeah.
These are really popular in Paraguay, and this is actually where the idea of Toma started. It was like I had to go all the way to Paraguay to get these. I was like, I want to make these in the U.S. Like, why can't we get these? So I'll mix that into some ice water. I'll squeeze some lemon in. Yeah.
You squeeze it into the water?
Yeah, into the water. So the mint is infused into the ice. I recommend half a lemon because it's strong, but depending on how much water you have, you can do a full lemon.
How much water is in there? Like a liter or two, or
this must be a gallon.
Oh, a gallon. Okay.
Yeah, it must be about a gallon. Yeah. I'm not sure what the meter is, but this was a really cool brand of Levis and Bop that made this for me, and it's really nice. It's synthetic leather. It's really tightly like bound to the actual like.
And you got a little strap there to put the guampa in, right?
It's got a little placeholder for the guampa. Really nice material, and then I got my first logo on there, Toma.
Nice.
Ball, my name on there. So eventually, that's a project we'll start up, is having personalized thermals that you can order online, quick delivery, different colors, different logos, stuff like that. So back to Tereré. The good thing about Tereré is you don't really have to do the montañita with this. So you can kind of just, tilt it to one side the same way you would with mate, but, just place the bombilla to one side, and then you always want to pour right over the bombilla, which helps it to not get clogged. And then they say there's a tradition, which actually I kind of just learned a little more about, which is when you wet the yerba, you pour it right over, right? You're supposed to let it sit, and they say it's for Toma, St. Thomas, who is the patron of yerba mate. So what's happening is, it's really like an offering, right? Let all the water absorb into it, But what it's really doing is it's creating the pathway for the water to get to the bombilla. So it has like a direct line. It's making the yerba more compact, so the next couple of sips that you're getting straight shots rather than like, getting stuck in there. And that kind of helps with the porrito too, and then boom.
Nice. And I assume you, just like any other, just like regular mate, the only difference is that it's cold, and then you put some lemon and mint, and that's about it, right?
Yeah, ice cold. Obviously, just like tea, it's not steeping at a hot temperature, so I would say it's less bitter. The herbs and the lemon make it taste really refreshing, tasty. Like it's it's a slightly different effect. I drink mate a lot for my stomach, and then I'd say I drink it more for hydration. I do a lot of sports. I'm outside all the time. Obviously, aside from the social component, it's just really refreshing and hydrating in hot weather. And that's actually a good segue. Like you mentioned, you weren't sure why they drink it in Paraguay or why it's a thing. There's a theory behind it. I can't say it's 100% true, but supposedly during there was a really big war, the Triple Alliance War. Sounds not right.
Yeah.
And Paraguay's wilderness. So part of the war was in Chaco, which is like uninhabited or there's indigenous people there. But anyway, it was war times, and the soldiers wanted to drink the mate, but they didn't want to blow their cover. They didn't want to give their location. So if you're creating a fire, there's smoke coming up, and people can see that from far away. So rather than heat up water to drink the mate, they would drink it cold so that they're not giving signals of their location.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, a little fun history lesson to look up. Especially
being really hot over there, but it's hot in all those countries. It's hot in Brazil. It's hot.
Yeah, sure.
Like the region is hot, so I can see there being some validity to that.
That's cool. Fun fact I learned today. So I see, which I can see the video that you've got kind of more of a like a metal cup, right?
Yeah.
I've seen kind of that just to keep it cold. Traditionally, it's bone, correct? Like a horse or
cow horn. Cow horn is like the old school for Tereré. And it's all about like how it insulates water and like how it reacts to water, right? So like the calabaza, which is like a fruit, right? Like a squash, pumpkin type skin fruit, which is dried out, hollowed out. That interacts better with the hot water. Like you can't use hot water in just like a simple aluminum cup like this because it'll
burn your hand. Yeah.
This is just ice cold. It gets like condensation. It starts dripping. It's amazing. That's how you know if your bombilla is not. You don't see the condensation and the little water droplets start forming, and that's how you know. That's the sign of a good day.
Okay, that's the signal. Huh? So it means add more ice. Otherwise.
Well, and they say that ice cold water is not like really you're not meant to drink ice cold water, but this is the exception.
So I've seen people also put ice like on top of the yerba. Is that a do or don't?
Yeah, it's a thing. I don't tend to do that, but it's a thing. It's a thing. It stays in. These are like insulated, right? So
it's the whole point of having that, right?
As the ice like stays intact, whereas it'll just melt on the outside on top of my stuff. But it's like an aesthetic thing, and people do that. Yeah.
Are there any other traditions or differences with tereré as opposed to mate in general?
I would say it's really more about the flavoring. It's just like in Paraguay, it's custom to infuse herbs into the water, right? Like, whereas with mate, you might put it on top of the yerba itself. In Paraguay, it's more about infusing
the water instead of the mate itself. Uh-huh.
Yeah, there are flavors that lend themselves more to a cold beverage than to a hot one, like mint and lemon.
Citrix. Yeah.
Whereas, like, I like the more bitter stuff. I like to use anise. I like to use digestive herbs for my mate. So it's really more about what you're mixing with.
Yeah, turmeric and stuff probably wouldn't go well in cold water. So yeah.
A couple other like ones that, and again, there's are native herbs to South America. There's one called burrito, which I think is lemon verbena, is the English like scientific name or whatever. And that's like it's like a lemony herb. It has like a lemony taste, like naturally occurring, like sweetener almost. There's one called cedron. There's I have a dictionary that somebody sent me that's in Guarani that lists all the different herbs. It's like thousands of herbs. It's like it's medicinal. You know what I mean? Like Guarani people use it medicinally.
That's a cool point. My wife's all into the yuyos, that they call it, right? All the different herbs and stuff. She likes those compuestos, like the mixes, and cedron is one of her favorites. And burrito, like you just said that, right? Burrito. Yeah, I had to look that up because I don't even know what they are in English either. That's one. I know those are two bigger ones. Like some of the digestive one, there's a whole bunch of them.
Digestive ones you have and they go in order of intensity. It's like anise is a popular one that people use to cook. It's like a seed. It has like a licorice type taste. But then there's boldo is one. Then there's a campo, which is stronger. And then if you really have stomach problems, there's one called jaguareteca, which is the Guarani word for it. It's like it tastes like it's disgusting. But
it's to make you go probably.
It'll get rid of stomach pains. But for today, I recommend mint and lemon. You can't go wrong with them. Those are really good options.
What's that last one?
Burrito.
Okay, nice. So anything other than mint and lemon that people typically add for the water?
People talk about adding like orange juice or doing it with juice, like citrus.
Okay.
You can put orange peels in there. Get some vitamin C. Anything kind of like citrusy. It's good. It also depends on your yerba. If you have like a one that's already infused that has flavoring in the yerba, then you don't really need anything else. But Toma is pure organic.
Yeah.
And it has such good, strong herbal flavor that you can definitely drink it. But I like adding like natural organic herbs myself. Yeah. It's part of the ritual for me. So
I personally, drink it just with like lemonade, like straight up lemonade. But that's obviously kind of, I guess the shortcut instead of adding real lemon, right? But
it's just try squeezing in some time. Even like when I'm sick,
trying to make some this weekend.
Yeah, if I'm sick, I'll obviously do it hot to help with a sore throat. But grapefruit is really good for sickness. You can really be pretty creative about it, honestly. Think about yerba mate in general. It's such a good base to infuse things with. I'm a soup lover too. I just love bases that you can infuse a lot into and get a lot of nutritional value on it.
Interesting. That's a interesting tie. I've not heard before with mate soup. But that's cool. That's a cool point. So Osvaldo, just couple questions before we get out of here, and thanks again for your time. Want to know what plans and projects you got going on, and things you want the people to know about, and where they can check you out.
Right now it's we have our staple product, right? Our organic yerba mate. We have a lot of inventory. We're really trying to spread the word and get people to try it. That's the idea right now, is getting people to try it. Whether or not they stick with it, adapt to it, that's kind of a personal choice. But we do find that people that give it, more than one chance. If you try 2-3 times, it kind of grows on you, and people tend to really like it. Pushing that, but we're also, I mentioned the thermals. We're working on a starter kit, so we're gonna get some cool cups, branded Tereré cups, mate cups. We'll start selling starter packs. We're looking at ready to drink bottled drinks. So you see stuff like Guayaquil and stuff like that. There's cocido is also another Paraguayan staple. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's mate cocido, right? But it's just prepared a certain way in Paraguay. So we're thinking of some kind of bottled drink around cocido. So almost think about one of those Starbucks cold lattes, frappuccinos, something like that. but with cocido, using yerba as the base. And then the thermos, that'll be another thing. I mean, there's so much we can do with it. But Toma in general, as a brand, we're finding different, let's say, like entities or organization teams. Like we're very high energy people. We like sort of pushing that like empowerment, like get after it, that sort of vibe. Because Yerba Mate gives you like energy, and our catchphrase is world class energy, right? So we're trying to like empower people, energize them, connect people, and push them to the next level. So I guess my point is like we're tied to the sports space too. So we're trying to grow a brand. It's not just about the yerba, although that's our staple product, but it's really about energizing, connecting. It's really about like the underlying meaning behind the yerba mate. So we have some exciting projects. We're getting involved with some sports. We actually sponsored an athlete who is fighting in MMA, Brazilian American fighter Josh Almeida. We're going to see him fight. He's in the PFL, so it's like a $1 million tournament. Basically, you're fighting for $1 million.
Nice.
There's also some soccer events coming up. There's a soccer tournament that we're going to be just trying to get involved with, like, you know, showcasing world class talent and using the yerba as a means to energize people.
That's cool, man. I'm excited. Yeah, I've seen some of those guys that, like the MMA fighter that you mentioned, and also, Andres Cantor that recently you guys.
That's our thing. It's like literally in our product is organic yerba mate. Everything we do, we want to be organic. You know, from the product, the lifestyle, the way we treat our bodies, the connections we make. Like this relationship, this podcast is a result of purely organic, you know, connection. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, so that's what, in everything we do, we try to infuse that. Just the idea of just everything falling out naturally. We don't do a lot of paid marketing. You know, we're growing our social media base the right way, organically. So it's like, that's one of our, I don't know if you saw, there was trending on social media. There's a manifesto that came out of Nike like 30 years ago. They wrote a manifesto, like 10 items. Their ethos, more or less, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for us, all organic everything is something that like we really want to infuse into our brand. And like,
well, I'll give you a free plug too for myself, as far as I've tried, you know, Toma. I bought it myself, so I guess just letting everyone else know that you didn't sponsor me. I bought it myself. I've tried it. It is definitely unique, I guess, in the fact of organic yerbas, that it really does. You can totally tell it's organic by the smell, the taste. I love that even the bags decomposable that you told me about. You know, so that's pretty cool. I don't know. You can like everything about it. You can sense organic. So I will shout it out, and definitely good taste. Something I recommend to anyone. You know. So if you haven't already, you know, check them out. You guys got a website, Instagram, anywhere else people can check you out at?
Yeah, we're at tomayerbamate.us. That's our website. We use social channels. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, even on LinkedIn, because I think what you're doing from just like a community standpoint, just connecting, you know, the players in the yerba mate industry here in the U.S., like, to me, LinkedIn is a good platform too, that I think a lot of people don't take advantage in terms of like professional networking opportunities and connecting with producers, stuff like that. So we're on there too. All of them are at Toma Yerba Mate. And yeah, we're just going to keep trying to expand, grow organically. And yeah, we appreciate any and all business. We're throwing in these brand new orders. We're throwing in these 250-gram sort of sample packs, because we want people to share it with others. So if you buy some, we'll give you an extra one for your gift to someone else. The whole idea is to spread the love, spread the culture, spread the health, and yeah, man, exciting stuff ahead.
Nice. Yeah, I'll leave it with this one quote there. Thing, maybe not quote, but thing that I've recently come across that been thinking more on, about how love is the one thing that you can give away that multiplies once given away. So spreading the love through power of your mate. Osvaldo, thanks again for joining us. Guys, check him out on all the socials or website. Go order you some. And until next time, salud. Cheers.
Bless. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
That was a fun episode for me to do. I actually learned a lot about Tereré, believe it or not, history and stuff, culture. It's always fun to learn some of the behind the scenes facts about some of those things. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Guys, I thank you so much for your support. And it's really kind of overwhelming that so many countries and so many downloads so far. But if you really want to help out, not only subscribing to the podcast is a huge help. Believe it or not, that actually helps us getting rankings and getting more eyes and spreading that culture and that love like Osvaldo talked about. But if you want to financially support us to help us reach more people, to get better quality, help us help you. In other words, you can support us on Patreon. Right now we have a Power People Club is what I'm calling it. For $5 a month, you can help me not only the cost of hosting this podcast, because unfortunately it's not free, as well as getting better equipment, microphones, and all the audio levels and transcripts and things that I can be able to serve more people. It costs money, and for a small fee monthly, not only can you help me produce better results, but then I will be able to give you bonus episodes. You guys, as the Power People, will be able to vote on what you want to hear next, be able to interact with me, and literally decide what gets to be on the podcast. I'll do special episodes for you guys that only you guys get access to exclusively, that you can download wherever you want to download it. And right now, I'm going to promote these Yerba Mate journals that I got from Yerba Travels and give those away to the first subscribers on Patreon. So if you want to help me out and make this show even better, go to patreon.com. I'll put the links in the show notes, or you can actually click on the links to support this show. And thank you once again for listening. Have a great one. Cheers. Salud.